with the mighty Atlantic Ocean, fertile agricultural lands, and a strategic geographic location that gives an opportunity for a lot of people to explore and get into the business. Gunjur and the Gambia at large has experienced numerous shutdowns when it comes to economy, and especially this COVID time. Please join us as we embark on a journey where we explore different areas of our business sector, from agriculture, fisheries, and small business enterprises. Gunjur Business is in short called Gunjur Biz. This will be a platform that we will use to explore different business opportunities, especially for young people. We'll bring you on Gunjur Online all the business topics that is related to financing, operations, marketing. And we will use this platform to invite experts from different sectors of the Gambian economy and give tips and have a broader analysis of the general business sector. This will give us an opportunity to be able to discuss in a broader detail how businesses are affected when it comes to our environment, our natural resources being exploited by other people, but also how we can tap into the opportunities and also access capital, which is very crucial for the success of the businesses. But not only that, we won't stop at accessing capital. You know what else we're going to do? It's about the little operational processes that are needed in our business culture to build up cultures that's going to be successful. And that's going to be, most importantly, what? It's going to be sustainable for the success of the business. So we can transfer wealth. We can also transfer skills from one person to another to be able to live in a community that is thriving, a community that businesses, private sector, individual businesses nurture entrepreneurship and reward them. So please join me every week on Gunjur Online as we delve into all these areas of discussions when it comes to business success. This is your host, Ahmed of Gunjur Online. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. It's me, Ahmed Manjang again. And today, my Dave, welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. We also have Gunjur TV Online. Welcome to another edition of Brufut land issues. You know, setting the records, Brufut land injustice, setting the record straight. And with my guest, Dave Manneh. David Lyman Manneh is a Brufutunka who is adversely affected, and his family affected by the land issue in Brufut, which is no news to anybody if you live in the Gambia, if you live in the Combos. You know, and recently we've seen a lot of many media platforms, you know, trying to construct a narrative which is far from the truth. So as a family member who has been following this case through the legal means to make sure that the public know what really happened in Brikama. Dave, briefly introduce yourself before we go into this discussion again. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Dave Manneh, as Ahmed introduced. I'm a native of Brufut, live in the UK. Also, as Ahmed mentioned in his introduction, and probably you guys remember from last week, the first episode. This is basically just us trying to set the record straight and maybe probably provide a better historical perspective of what actually occurred. So it's simply, that's all we do it really. So yeah, so we hope that you guys will listen to it with an open mind and then take it forward. If you got any questions for us, obviously, if we're here, we're very happy to answer them to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave. Yeah, if you have any question or if you want to contribute, here is the number, +220 9433 419. You know, or you can just type your question on the comment section. We will read it to Dave. Dave, please, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yes, obviously, people who know me on even members of the Combo Ruakafo or other various platforms. Very few platforms I'm subscribed to because due to lack of time. But I've always made it very clear, I've made no secret of it, that I feel very strongly and I'm very convinced that before we can make any headway on these land issues or environmental issues in Brufut, in Combo, or even in the Gambia, most social issues in the Gambia, we have to make sure that the country is forced to have a conversation. So it's quite important we force these discussions into the public consciousness, into the public arena. Okay, it doesn't mean that we're seeking what's it called, sympathy. No, we just want people to be aware of what is happening. I mean, there is a moral issue here, but it's also a legal issue. The moral issue, obviously, that is is in the court, and it's the court of public opinion. And we strongly believe that Gambians are people who are moral. I don't know what that means, to be honest. What morality means to you and to somebody else might be completely different. But I think there are some universal precepts of what morality and legality are. So we're not going to get too much into that. But I think as Gambians from our background of either being Muslims or Christians or just our unique Gambianness, I think we do know what those are. We know the definitions, and we also know when they have been broken. So this is a conversation that is not limited to just to Brufut or to Combo, because we feel that some of these issues, if they are not dealt with now and resolved, they're going to affect other parts of the country. So we want people who, for example, live in Kiang or Jara or Wuli or Miss or what's it called or Bansang area to just stop thinking that, oh, this doesn't affect me. I think we all need to stand up together and fight this injustice because it might be in Combo today, tomorrow it might be in Kiang or it might be in Fonyi. And then it goes much, much further than that as well anyway. It's a justice issue. I mean, I don't know how many times we can say this. I'm going to be repeating myself so many times, but I think it's important we stress this. These landed properties are people's inheritance. So, I mean, I could give analogies of people with heads of cattle, or some people whose families were like tradespeople, commercial people with big commercial interests in wherever, in Banjul or Bassi or wherever, and they got some wealth from that. And their kids and their grandkids and their grandkids after them inherit this wealth. So the land in Combo and in Kiang and other places, this is also an inheritance. So people need to understand that. It's just more than just land. It's inheritance, it's our history. So I think it's quite important people look at it from that perspective. So once again, this is not just about Brufut. It's not just about me. It's not about Combo. It's about the whole of the Gambia. And it's about basic human decency. But it's important to stress this. There is a certain narrative, and people are going out of their way to try to create a myth. So I think it's within our right. And actually, I think it's quite proper for us to try and set the record straight. If you want to make a myth, make yourself as a generous person, is okay. But there are people who are living witnesses to what happened in Brufut and Yundum. And they will be very willing to set the record straight. It's nothing personal, just basically doing the basic human decent thing to say, oh, maybe you've forgotten this. This is actually what happened. So we can have a discussion. It's all about having discussions because nobody in Combo is planning or aiming or even contemplating any sort of resolution to this. We're not thinking of picking up arms or cutlasses. No, we're talking about, and we're appealing to Gambians, to their basic human decency, to that sense of basic human decency. And as Gambian commonality, this common thing we have as Gambianness, for people to realize what is happening is very unjust. So we need to work together, a concerted effort as Gambians to correct that. So once again, these issues need to be in the public domain. That's some of the reasons why we'll be writing open letters. And writing an open letter doesn't mean if I write to Lawyer Dabo, he needs to respond to me. That's not what an open letter is. That's not why I'm doing it. I am sending an open letter to Dabo because I am actually appealing to his conscience as a Gambian, as a lawyer, but importantly, as an important personality in the Gambian social politics, which is very, very important. So the letter is not for him to respond to me. No, I don't need that. I just want to alert him to what is coming, what is going on in the Gambia. And he has a duty and will be a severe dereliction of duty if he doesn't do anything about it. So we've been writing to other people in private and they've been responding. We got people from the National Assembly who have responded to us and they are very willing to look into this. Some of them will need to go revisit the State Lands Act just to reacquaint themselves with it, and then they are very willing to look into this. And I think so. I think there is some progress, steady progress, but we are making progress. But until and unless issues that affect Combo or affects other societies or other communities in the Gambia, until we can bring them into the national debate, we talk about them as a family, we're not going to make any progress. So that is quite important.
Yeah, Dave, before one Lamin Toure is asking, can you shed light on the Bojang and Sano Kunda land issue, former CSE? I think if you can do that, then we proceed.
Okay. I don't know much about that. Unfortunately, when I heard about it, it always goes back to this Jana Commission. The Jana Commission, basically, this CSC farm, what I understood about it was land given from Brufut community to the guys building the coastal highway so that they can park their, what's it called, heavy plants. So when it ended, Jambi took it upon himself that he will take it. And then when the Jana Commission came, and then they gave it back to the community of Brufut. But they gave it back to Bojang Kunda people because it belonged to Bojang Kunda people. That's what they said. It belongs to them. All right. So the people in Bojang Kunda obviously wanted to sell this land. For the life of me, I do not understand why anybody in Combo would want to sell your land. But that's not for me to say. That's not for me to say. But I personally wouldn't sell my land to anybody, not even for $1 billion. I wouldn't sell my land to anybody. No. Doesn't matter how much money you bring me, I wouldn't sell. So obviously, Brufut community decided that they should set up like a sort of committee that should basically all the lands that have been brought back, given back to the community by the Jana Commission, and they can take it and then try and use it for the whole of Brufut. So if the land was Yaya Jambes during Yaya Jambes time, took it through whatever means. But now the Jana Commission is saying that we want to give it back to the community. So these Brufut people, I think they're very right. The young people stood for that it would be better for the whole of the community to have it instead of giving it back to the individual clans. And I agree with them completely. I completely agree. Because, I mean, even if it's your land, Ahmed, even if it's my land, and I live in Brufut with you, and I know the state of land issues in Brufut, we don't even have public communities. If it's mine, I got it back. And the community comes to me to ask for it, I'll give it back to them. I say, here, obviously you can have this. So that's what my Brufut Nkaya is. My community needs something from me, I should give it to them. But then this is not for me to decide. It's for some people with the Brufut, with the Bojang clan and the Sane clan to decide. And then the argument obviously is that the Sane clan said actually the land belongs to them. But the Bojang clan also said that belongs to them. And history is always contested. One piece of land can belong to various people. Because you can be from Bojang Kunda, you can be married to Manneh Kunda, your Bitangol can give you land for you to have. So your kids and their kids after you own that land. But originally, it might have belonged to Manneh Kunda. So I think that's the situation we have in there. What makes it unfortunate is we got bigger issues in Brufut. So they are getting themselves. It's like, it's so sad. I mean, because we got side. This is massive swath of land, and people are selling them for 30 by 30 for 250. Let's say. So some of these lands are not being sold yet. Instead of us going to court as a community, as Brufut, to say we don't want to sell in this land anymore, asking for an injunction on that land and moratorium, instead we're fighting over 200 meters by 200 meters among ourselves. I don't know the dimensions. This is just a rough estimate. I honestly do not know. So it's very, very sad. That's what I was saying.
Thank you very, very much. I hope that will be enough sufficient for Lamin Toure. Just to give you a brief introduction, why this program? Brufut people, Bakari, just to tell you, this is about the land injustice concerning the people of Brufut. But this is a combo issue. What to Brufut people now is happening to Sukut, and it happened to people of Bakau. In fact, it's still happening to them if you put the Demban issue into equations. So we've seen all these we've seen all these estates around Brufut. They surround Brufut, make Brufut like a shanty town, to be honest with you. It is fenced off from the from the ozone and all that. But how those lands were acquired, we've seen people coming out in other social media platforms trying to justify how they legally acquire those lands. But we know how this is why Dave is here, is to set those records straight. How those lands were acquired and how it affects, the local community. Basically, the situation is, for example, if my great grandfather owned a herd of cattle, nobody should come to me today and said, you Mansa will want this part of it, and they take it like that. It doesn't happen. So same happened to land. These are our cultural heritages that our forefathers preserved for us until us. And these lands where they don't just been acquired, they are acquired either through conquest or through, somebody give it to you through intermarriage or whatever. So Dave, the floor is yours to set this record straight, how those lands were acquired. And we also heard about the TDA issue was also mentioned, how it will change so that somebody can have his estate around that end. So Dave will discuss all these issues. If you have any questions specifically around that end, Dave will be happy to answer. Thank you.
Okay, I will try to do a screen share because I did a slideshow. So hopefully, okay, it might help us do the presentation. So let's see what you think. I don't know if it's going to be okay. Let me have a quick look. Let me know if it's showing. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it showing?
Yeah, it's showing. Yeah.
Okay.
Except that not very clear.
It's not very clear.
Yeah. That's very clear now, but not all the screen. Yeah, that's very clear now. Yeah, it's clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, it might be very emotional language, but just for this quite proper to use that. So yeah, you guys, so all right. So basically, I call it the Brufut land thefts. Can you guys see me?
Yeah, we can see you. We can see the screen very clear. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I think we need to go to the very fundamental, to the very basics here. So this is a land theft. There is no two ways about it. It's an economic disempowerment of a whole community for the benefit of an individual. That needs to be very clear. So the arguments about these lands are state land. I mean, this is for the lawyers to discuss. But I mean, I can tell you from most of the lawyers I've spoken to, it's actually a misapplication of pieces of legislation. And it is something the lawyers will obviously have to deal with. But there is a moral issue here, and that's why we are appealing to the morals of Gambians to see it from that. But it's much more than just that. I think it's important for us to set the record straight. When these lands, I don't know what theme you want me to follow. Do you want me to go free flow or Mr. Manjang?
No, free flow. This is your show. We enjoying it, and the viewers also. Thank you.
All right. So this is a Google map I grabbed today of Brufut, as you can see. So you will see the importance of these coastal roads. I don't know if you can see the thoroughfares. Yeah, you will see, and the distance from the shore. You'll see why I'm trying to show you this. It's quite important. Okay. All right. So the breadth and scale of these lands that have been taken from Brufut is massive. So what they call Brufut Heights now, and it's actually 4 different farms there. It used to be called Basumala Konko. Konko means like a hill. Jatabere, and it's called Bijilo Kunko too. So now these are combined together. They call them Brufut Heights. Okay. So where the Seratin Hotel is, they used to call that Konko Wulemo. So this is just, and then some people call it number 10 GML. So in the very long time ago, there used to be mineral mining in the Gambia. So it used to be Gambia Mineral Limited. So I think that used to be one of their residences. They call it number 10 residence. So that's where the executives used to live. So that's where the Seratin Hotel is today. So then you have what we call the urban farms. This is now what they call the Brufut Villa. What's it called? The Brufut Gardens and AU Villa.
Gardens, AU Villas. Okay.
Yeah, AU, okay. So now, if you can see the breadth and scale of land that's been stolen from Brufut, I don't know if you guys can see me. Can see this? Yeah. Can you see the screen?
Wow. Yeah. So we can see it very clear. Yeah.
Okay, you see the Brufut Heights. You see Brufut Heights, you see the hills, and then next to it you will see this Brufut football field that we'll speak about later. Then you see Brufut Gardens here, and then you see the presidential villa. You see the size of them combined. You see 2.7 kilometers square.
Yeah.
1.45 kilometers square. So that's just that. Then you go to Brufut Heights, 3.93 kilometers square. Then you go to what we call what's it called? The Brufut football field, 738 meters square, or 1.83 meters square. Then you go to what we call the Sheraton Hotel, if you can see that
Yeah.
there. On the whole length of it, to go all the way towards Sunny Mentron Junction. That's 3.8 kilometers. So if you do the rough maths of this, the government is taking 11 kilometers square from people in Brufut. And these are all in the most expensive real estate in the Gambia. So if you go to Brufut as an example, 30 by 30 there, they're selling them for 250,000. So $250,000 if 30 by 30 meters. 30 by 30 meters, if you divide it into 1100 kilometers. Sorry, 11 kilometers. What do you get? That's a whole lot of money. So this land, and the government realized the value of the land. So you basically robbing me of $1 billion, you can say.
Yeah.
So how is that fair? How is that fair? So it's a massive piece of. It's massive. It's a big ask from any community to have to give this amount of swap land to anybody. But what makes it even sad, or what makes it unacceptable, and that's why we're fighting for justice of it. If these lands were taken by the government and they were used for the government, for the benefit of the country, we can understand. But all these lands have been taken not for the benefit of the Gambia. They're for the benefit of very few individuals and their families and their business partners. So that's what makes it so illegal. You can see at the top, it says sketch plan showing encroachment on the customary lands. Total area land together, you see there. This is a piece of land to take from any community. It's huge.
Yeah, but Dave, just to interrupt you a little bit, behind the between the main road and the sea, I think that's supposed to be like the TDA.
Yes, I'm just going to come to that as well. I'm actually going to come to that. So now this is the 800 meter high water mark. It's very illogical. I don't know if you can see my markings there. I basically use a pen.
Yeah.
I was going to use maybe I could use what we call a whiteboard, then I can actually do interaction. I'm not sure, because I'm not sure if I know what's it called. I use Microsoft Teams and it supports that, but I'm not too sure about this platform those. So I was into so maybe you should. But I'm sure you can see the crude marks I've done there, yeah?
Yeah.
Can you see the line?
Yes, I've seen it, yeah.
Very, very crude arrows.
Yes.
Okay.
They're clear. They are clear.
Crude arrow, for example, where we say like Jeho Beach Bar and Restaurant. Can you see that one? Ozone Villa Heights. So can you see the distance from the high water mark to the main road?
Yeah.
The coastal road to what do you call Chosan? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now,
the writings are small, but I can see the arrows clearly, and how they are getting smaller and smaller. You know. Okay.
So now, if you come to let's say like where it says Brufut Beach or the Embassy of Turkey, you see that?
Yeah.
So if this is 800 meters, that is going to be at least 1,200 meters over there, or 1,600 meters. Yeah, but apparently the agreement with the TDA in Jawara's time was 800 meters from the high water mark. From the high water mark. So it doesn't make any sense. And then I did my own investigation. I know what my people told me, and I believe them. They said when they had a conversation with Jawara's people, they told them, look, there is a line of demarcation here. There's a natural line of demarcation. That's going to be the coastal highway. Yeah. And this coastal highway, by the way, is it predates what we have there right now. Used to be gravel roads. They say any land from the road towards the beach, towards the ocean, we're happy to lease this to you for 50 years. Any land, all lands on the other side of the road towards the town, that is for us. We're not going to lease that to you, because that's where we're going to farm. We also need to expand. So this argument came out of nowhere that, it's 800 meters from the high water mark. It still doesn't make any sense. And then it's all rubbish anyway. I mean, if it's 800 meters from the land, it's TDA area. Why do we have estates built there? Why do we have like foot heights? We got they are domestic homes. So it's a way of trying to hoodwink our people, because you could say in that community, historically, you could say people are not educated, or even the ones who were educated didn't feel it worth their while to fight for this. And I think this is where my generation and your generation, we need to come and make a change. We need to bring a stop to it, because people are taking advantage of our people. Number one, their kindness, and number two, because they just want trouble, and trouble in quotes, by the way. So, but if you don't fight for what belongs to you, then you have to fight for something that doesn't belong to you. Anyway. But this is a just fight. And the crazy thing about it, now the government will tell you that they cannot even find the original list. The original list seems to have disappeared. Yeah, if you go to Journal Commission volume 3, page 100, and I think it's page 89, as I mentioned it the other day, they had it there on a footnote that Registrar General of the Gambia cannot find the original list. So I gave you a list, my family gave you a list 50 years ago, over 50 years, this is 1970, for 50-year list for these lands. And then today down the line, 50 years down the line, that list is disappeared. But this list was meant for government to safekeep. They are the custodians of all important national documents. It just disappeared. So I am not here to be cynical. I'm going to leave you guys to reach your own decision on that. So yeah, I don't want to say any much more than that. So I'll leave everybody. I mean, I'm sure there is a very honest explanation for it. A very, very innocent explanation, but I am not too sure. But so the challenge is out there for all of you. If you're able to find this and find this list, or if you can give us an explanation why you think it's lost, please, tell us. We really would like it. Okay. So this is Google Map, which I grabbed today. As you can see, I put a map there, a highlighter. Yeah. So this is Brufut Heights. Okay, you will see a little if you can see some bits of the land is like a little more white, lighter, as you can see that. Yeah. To where the intersection is. Yeah, that's the Brufut. This is the STRASSER field. This is where the government is trying to take away from the youth now. They want to turn this into a sports multiplex. So that's the other issue we have in Brufut. So you've taken 11 kilometers square of our land. So we want to take 3 kilometers, just 3 kilometers of it. I mean, 1.8 altogether, 3.8 altogether for us to turn into a multiplex sports for the people of Brufut. And the government is saying, no, you cannot, because this land belongs to the government. We don't recognize that the land belongs to the government. We don't accept that. But I mean, like I said, that's a legal case. We have to go through the courts for that. But we are not moving from this land. We want to make that clear to everybody. This land over our dead body, is anybody in Brufut going to move from that STRASSER field? We'll be ready for them. We'll be waiting for them. Nobody is giving an inch of the STRASSER field to the Gambia government. It's not going to work. That is not going to work. You've had enough of it now. Yeah. So this is, I think, it's basic human decency. If we can take so much away from people, and this one small
and Dave, what's the size of this field again? Sorry.
Field again, I think it's 3.8 kilo square meters. Square meters.
So that's a sizable,
Yeah, because they want to go into a multiplex, like football and what's it called, basketball multiplex, because Brufut is not small town. Brufut is quite big. I mean, the people in Brufut right now, they have to play their football at the Brufut school. During school time, it's a problem for the kids because they have evening shift and morning shift. So these guys, the football instructing kids who are in the classroom trying to learn. So I think this is it's just crazy. You just don't understand the argument that anybody from the Ministry of Lands or Planning or wherever can say, no, you can't use this land because it belongs to us. What about the people of Brufut? For even if we put for one side, just for convenience sake, let's put away this argument about gonna go to court through for Brufut Heights and then Brufut Gardens and AUville and stuff. But what even happens to the government's own responsibility to the people? That people, young kids who are into sports, actively into sports, is good for them because it keeps them away from other stuff. Yeah. What happens to that moral and social responsibility? So instead of coming to say, okay, we're going to volunteer to turn this into a multiplex for the whole of the Gambia, instead you have them fighting the youths of Brufut over a piece of land. Where's the justification? How can you justify this? And you expect them to move. They're not going to move. Like General Bojan said when he went there to give a speech, Brufut people are willing to lose their lives over this land. And we're not saying that to threaten anybody. That's not a threat. Yeah, General Bojan went there. He might not be a politician anymore, but he's a son of Brufut, he's a son of the Gambia, he's a son of Combo, and he will stand shoulder to shoulder with people of Brufut. And we are very confident, lots of people in the Gambia, including yourself, Mr. Manjang, would see the justification, and you will see the right for people to fight for this piece
Yeah,
of land.
and Dave, just to buttress that point, Ibrahim Aswane said it's happening all over Combo, Bakau, Suguta, Mandinari, Yundum, Gunjur, Brikama, etc. And he went on to say it is high time this government, no, that's from Mariama Salah. He said it's high time this government solve land issues before internal conflicts get worse. And Ibrahim Aswane went, it's happening all over. Yeah, I read that one. So yeah, I think not only Brufut, but the entire combo. That's why these need to publicize. The people of Combo need to come together and stand as one and speak one language. Because if they can get away with it, with this in Brufut, they will come to Gunjur and bring the same story. We want to do this and take it. And they go to Sugut and do the same thing. And we've seen Mandinaring, how their lands have been misappropriated to the Chinese people. So this is it's an urgent collective issue that the whole of Combo need to come and speak in one language. Thank you, Prosi.
I would even like to, I'll take the liberty to say that it's a national issue. I think the rest of the country needs to actually come to the realization that this doesn't affect only Combo. Even if it affects us, only Combo.
Yeah.
You might say, I live in Jara or Kenya, it doesn't bother me. But what happened to your humanity? What happened to your basic human decency, fighting side by side with your fellow Gambians? I mean, a lot of us in the diaspora were very active fighting against Yahya Jammeh. It was injustice. I mean, he had no right to people. He had no right to life. He had no respect for right to life. So obviously, we shouldn't be surprised that he has no respect for right to property. But if Gambians will recognize that we came together as one to get that, to change governments, I think we should come together to know that this is also a justice issue. But it's more than just a justice issue. This is actually a security issue, really. Because what happened in Salaji, in Sukuta and Salaji, that's just the beginning. Because people in Combo, whether it's Brufut, they were ready to go and give support to people in Salaji. They're just waiting for the government to carry out its threat that they're going to come back. And they're going to see something on that day. Really, they would. So that's why my open letter to Dabo in publicly, which we published, is actually trying to plead to him. But I don't want him to respond to me because some people wrote to me, it's like, oh, he will never respond to me. I say, no, you don't. That's not why I wrote to him. That's not the whole essence of an open letter. The open letter is not to pass him to write to you. The open letter is to send to an individual or communities of elders or whatever you call them, people of influence. Something is happening. You need to do something about it. So we put them on a moral pedestal for a reason. And then for him, he came on public. Nobody asked him to, but he volunteered to give his legal opinion, which I thought was very, very important because he is somebody who is he's got a lot of experience as a lawyer in the Gambia. And on top of that, he's very involved in legal cases to do with Combo. So I think his public announcement, I think is very, very important. So that's why based on that, okay, I'll send him a letter, not to put him on the spot, by the way, but just to remind him that what he said is actually very true. But we'd like you to know, you need to wait until you're in power. You actually got power vested in as a member of the NAM, as a National Assembly member. You don't even have to be a head, the leader of your party. Just the fact that you are a member of the National Assembly gives you the right to table bills in Parliament. So you can table a bill in the National Assembly and say, these pieces of legislation need to be repealed, or at least they need to be amended. So that's what I just reminded him and put that letter in public. But I don't expect him to respond to me, and I don't expect, that's not what I'm doing it for. It's all like I'm saying, between day one. People who have spoken to me, either in the work of war with other places, I made it very clear. Our problems in the Gambia need to be publicly discussed, because through that people can provide opinions. Some might be against, might be for us, but at least we have in this public discussion. It's quite important. Okay. So I'll go give you, if you don't mind, I think I just thought it might be easier just to give the slides and then we can talk, talk around them.
It's very interactive. I like it this way, where people can see it for themselves. It's unbelievable, what the level of injustice and the size. And this was given to an individual from an entire community of more than almost close to 40,000 people. That's just unbelievable. That's a real theft.
It is. It's gross. It's gross theft. Yeah. So now, okay, this is basically giving you the lands again. Before, obviously, I gave you the map from Google Map, but we had to commission surveyors to do this because I believe in this. Maybe it's because of my profession. I believe in people doing things correctly. Take your time, do your investigation, even commit your time and energy and even money so that you can fully grasp the depth, and the scale of what is happening. So this is some of surveyors basically doing the map, taking their own tape measures and measuring them, and this is just what we discussed about anyway. So you can see the size again. So it's just huge. So this is what they call Brufut Heights. So it is massive. So now let me give you the example of what you call an economic dispossession. So this is somebody selling the lands in Brufut Heights, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but it says property location.
It's very small. Yeah.
Okay. It says property location Brufut Heights. It's a plot size 30 by 30 square meters. Sale price 350,000. So like I'm saying, 30 by 30 square meters on the Brufut Heights cost 350,000. That's cheap. Those are cheap. I went there myself last year, October, November. I spent 1 month in the Gambia doing my investigation. I went there. Somebody wanted to sell me a plot of land for $4 million. $4 million. Because he got a little small house on it. I'm like, are you mad? He's a Sarahule guy. No, that's nothing to say about it. Sarahule. I'm just saying he just happened to be Sarahule. It could be a Madinka. It could be Manneh. But the fact that he was willing to sell me a plot of land, with small, tiny house on it for $4 million, it just gives you the scale of the dispossession. So this is land that belongs to people. You took it from them. This is to Jam's time, by the way, and most of it, the architect of this is Yankuba Toure. Yeah, he was the Minister of Tourism. He took it upon himself, and him and Yaya Jammeh, they got their own cabal of people. They gave them these lands, and some of them, they sold them off. So you got some lawyers in the Gambia, they're dealing in law. Some of them, they got meters, they got stock of land in this place. How did they get this? So that's some of the reasons why the open letters indicating to asking, requesting, what they call DABO, to make sure that we have a land commission. But this land commission need to have people of Congo, because the Congoans are the people who are the receiving and we're the victims. So we need to be at the high table when this commission is, whenever this commission is set up. Okay, but this shows you the scale of the injustice and the economic dispossession. So if you give this land back to Brufut people, now going back again to the Lamin Toure's question about the Sano people and Bojang Kunda people fighting for the CSE farm. So instead of them fighting over that, I don't know the size of it, they should be fighting the government to take the lands back in Brufut Heights that have not been sold, and people are selling them 30 by 30 for $350,000. So that should be a more worthy fight for Brufut than be doing now, instead of fighting among themselves. You see what I mean? So it all comes to that people not having their priorities wrong. But I need to be very careful here, because land is an emotional thing. So you need to be careful. And everybody is my family, whether they're from Sane or Manneh or Bojang or Jawara. We have the big, these are the big clans in Brufut. The Manneh clan, the Bojang clan, the Jawara clan, and the Sane clan. Or people call them Sano, but they call them Suba. Suba has got other names as well. They got other surnames. Okay, so but this shows you the scale of the theft, really. 30 by 30 square meters, $350,000. We got 11,000 square meters stolen from us. It's a joke. 11,000 square meters stolen from us. It's an absolute joke. So if you divide 30 by 30 within that, do you see how much money they've stolen from Brufut people? We're talking about millions of dollars here. If we have to go by their dimension and the cost. So when people probably need to start thinking of this just as land, when they start thinking of it as somebody's wealth, I think the argument will change, because it's just not about empty land anymore. It's about land. It's about money. It's about economic dispossession. So economically, you empower a few people, and you economically dispossess hundreds and hundreds of people. It's not a responsible government doesn't act that way. So if it is not this current government who's been culprits, at least they have a duty to correct this at least. But we've not seen any moves from them. We have not seen any moves yet. That's not to say that they might not do it tomorrow, but today, as I'm speaking to you today, there's been no moves. If anything, they're actually making more effort to steal more land from us. They haven't even, they're just not making any effort. They're still trying to rob some more of us.
So you have 1,222 30 by 30s in 11, you know, in 11. Yeah, well, 1,222 plots, 1,222 plots of 30 by 30 in 11,000 square, in 11 square meter, 11 kilometer square. Yeah, that's unbelievable. So that by 3,500. Wow.
350,000.
Yes.
It's billions. So can you imagine? Can you actually see the scale of this?
Yeah.
Can you see the scale?
Yeah. Hello. Let me take this call. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Manjang.
Yeah, you want to contribute to the show?
Hello, Mr. Manjang.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, I want to take part in the show.
Okay. Carry on. We can hear you. Dave, can you hear him?
Yeah, it's not very clear, but I can hear. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Very good. What I want to put across
it on the lani bada muntola. It on the lani bada muntola.
I am Fabai Jane. I'm calling from Gunjur. Me call Kanna Gunjur.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah. Let's talk put in the program. One of the areas many I'll be mentioned like TDA. Okay. TDA what I mean signifies all of tourist development areas. Okay. 800 meters from the sea canal Selena. Recently, in areas like Gunjur. Where recently doing sand mining in Ebatralako, that is just like, it's not less than, 300 or 200 meters from the sea. So, like, it is in the heart of EDA.
Yes.
Okay, like Niajibe, mining Niajibe, so Nico tourist development area. So warning, mining,
that is geology, yeah.
So I and TDA take to that, because tourist development areas, if mining is taken, in that place, saying it all blue, it all when I end out I want
enough for clarification on that. Okay, Dave will try to clarify this. Dave, basically what he's saying, if they said 800 meters from the high water mark to the land, that is TDA. But then these are the same areas, less than 20 meters from the high water mark, are being mined for construction and also for black sand. That's what confuses him.
Yes, I heard it very clearly. Mbadiwa, thank you so much. It's because it's all criminality. It's basically they use the TD as an argument. I mean, yeah, talking about that's an environmental disaster happening in Gunjur and Sanyang, and I understood they're trying to go to Brufut as well. So our people are getting no respite. So that's why we need to fight this. And TDA, what does TDA mean? What does that mean? You have to economically bankrupt me, my community, for what? Just so that somebody can come from England or Sweden and just enjoy the sun. What for? At what? On what basis? At what cost to me and my people and their health, and their well-being? Yeah. So these TDA dimensions of 100 meters from the high water mark, 1,000 meters of high water mark, is all. Nobody actually pays attention to it. They use it when they need to. It's just convenience. But the important thing is, nobody can find you the lease. They can't find the lease. These 800 meters from the high water mark, the lease is disappeared completely. The registrar in the Gambia cannot find it. So I'm not here to judge. I'm going to leave you guys to make your own judgment on it. But if you, a government, the department that is responsible, is the custodian of the nation's important, legal contracts, and they cannot find this. And this is not just land. I mean, I want people to see this are not just land. This is inheritance, is economic empowerment, is political empowerment. That's what land is. But it's more than just that as well. It's got historical significance for us, because this is where our ancestors basically, some of them lost their lives cutting these places down, making them habitable, or making though they can farm on them. Yeah. And if the argument is that the Gambian government is going to take it for the benefit of the Gambia, we can understand. But it's not for the benefit of the Gambia. It's all for the benefit of few peoples, few connected people, and few individuals. So all this TDA argument is just, I don't want to use I don't want to use choice words here really, but it's really is forget it. It's not, it's just not true.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think Faba, you hear that answer. Basically TDA. The initial agreement was between the road and the sea. That was leased to them for 50 years. But for some reason, that went missing. Nobody can find it. And where this 800 thing come up is not certain. So this is why entire Combo, especially the coastal people, need to come together and challenge this. Because if the lease is lost, nobody can find it. The key custodians should take responsibility. That means that null and void. If anything is going to be agreed upon, the government cannot just sit there and bring out numbers without consulting the indigents. They need to be consulted and agree on.
That's right.
So this is the situation. And to make matters worse, now that TDA again is being mined by geology department. Up to 20 meters in some areas. In fact, it's less than 20 meters. So. It's a sad situation. Yeah, Dave, so you can continue, please.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, again, I just highlighted it. Actually, the Brufut football thing, STRASSER, is 1.83 kilometers square. That's the distance, 1.83. Yeah, that's, if you can see, it's just highlighted in yellow.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. So, it's not the scale of it. The scale of it is just unbelievable. So now, if we go to what they call KAJARBANG, we call it KAJARBANG. For some reason, the developer wants to call it Brufut Gardens. So now you can see the dimensions of Brufut Gardens as well. Yeah, 9.26.67 meters on one side, 177.48 on another, 447.45 on another, and then you got 5.417 and then 635.7. Can you see all of this? So this is given to one individual. This is what they call this is what they call Brufut Gardens, and this belongs to the Manneh and Sani clan. So, but we call it KAJARBANG. That's what we know is called KAJARBANG Farms. So this has been taken from us, from just the two clans, and given to one individual. So hundreds and hundreds of people in Brufut from the both clans have lost their inheritance, their wealth, and one person has been made a billionaire overnight over it. Yeah. So now this one is the AU Villa. If you can see the side there, can you see AU Villa? Hello, Ahmed? Hello?
Sorry, I was mute. Yeah, I can see it. That's the red rectangle, right? With the red lines.
Yeah, and this little one here, that's called the AU Villa. So they separated. It's that AU Villa, and this is what they call Brufut Heights. But obviously, our people call all of them KAJARBANG Farm. They used to be called KAJARBANG. Okay. So this is all been taken from the Manneh and Sani clan and given to an individual, an estate developer. Okay. It's a joke. So now, basically, I don't know if anybody else there got any questions. So.
Yeah, not yet. Ibrahim Aswani, the TDA, just the comment from Bakari Conte. He said, my problem with this government is that why they are seeing the Chinese as, why they are not seeing Chinese are destroying our country, especially in Combo. Most of immediately, Gambia is for Gambians and citizens and not for Chinese. Then Ibrahim Aswani again, TDA is a scam for robbing money of his land and also give it to Njai. I think he's talking about stuff there. Yeah, so you can proceed.
Okay, so when it comes to this individual estate builder, so like you can say, it seems to like be a tick up in in efforts to basically do PR exercise, and then you got people, at least, I don't know, you want to call them, he pays them or not, I'm not too sure.
Dave, can I comment just a little bit? According to one of you, or either it's you or banker, the Manneh, Kunda, and the Sani are compensated for only 350,000 or 250,000. I don't know. That is the price of 30 by 30. And if you do the less than 200, and if you do the arithmetic, 30 by 30 times 1,222, you have 427,700,000. That's what this guy will get just for the land proceeds alone.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So no, it's 250. Yeah, basically they say the compensation is 250,000. So this guy sells within this estate developer within this enclosure, these Brufut gardens. It's not built on all of them. When I was in the Gambia, obviously October, November, I went there to have a look. And then I went into his office just to speak to the people there. And he's also selling them 30 by 30 for $40,000.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, $35,000, $40,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not built on all of them.
Elizabeth Gomez is asking what are the people of Gunjur. But this is Brufut specifically. We'll get to Gunjur. But this is Brufut. This is what they are doing. That's what he's showing you. This is about what the family is doing. You need somebody to go and do this thing properly and measure them and put monetary terms on it. And you can go and challenge them at the courts. But without these figures, you cannot fight anything. So, and also to set the record straight, because we know there is another media campaign. Somebody is trying to justify how he acquired this land, even though it was illegal. Anybody, you listen to Janneh Commission, these lands were acquired illegally. So this is about the family, the people of Brufut, bringing their version of the story. What really went ahead, Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, it was $250,000 forced on them to take it or leave it, and the family, they didn't take it. I think they refused to take it for a long time. It was lying there. When I went back home to ask, nobody even seemed to know what happened to the money anyway. But even if they used it, I told them even if they used it, doesn't matter anyway, because it doesn't legally justify taking my land. That's what it's going to come down to. Yeah, it's going to come down to that. I mean, if he can sell 30 by 30 for $40,000, but you want to compensate me for 3.9 kilometers square for 250,000, what does that make? What do you think we are, idiots? Yeah, but worse than that, the other argument was like they compensated us on some other land. And if I tell you the history about it, you're going to laugh. And the other side of Ghana town, I know you know Brufut, Mr. Manjang. If you go into Brufut, you go past the the military camp, or what's it called? Not the military camp, the police station. Yeah. If you go into Brufut, the side where the police station is, so that place is called KAJARBANG. No, sorry, it's called not KAJARBANG. What's the name of the place? Kenebaring. Kenebaring also happen to belong to the Manneh people and also some Ansani people as well. So Jambe's argument was that he's going to compensate us that land over there, some of us, and he's going to give us 250,000. And our argument was like, that's our land, that's our farm. So how are you going to take our land from us, give it to an individual? But your argument is that you're compensating us on land that belongs to us anyway. It's just so ridiculous. I mean, if you look at the court case, you just start laughing. I mean, it's a joke. But I can understand why Jamie will do it, because, like I said, he didn't even value people's, right to life. So somebody who doesn't respect your right to life, how is he going to respect your right to your property? I can understand that about him. So, but you got people who, I mean, I'm going to be very, very, I'm going to use a very nice word for it. In the UK, we call it chances. Chances is a nice way of saying somebody is a very, very bad opportunities, but we don't want to use any negative words here. So we just want to say somebody took a chance. All right. So if you got people in that community and you have a very, very, very bad government, so what you have a combination of factors which are very, very detrimental to people who are powerless and they are not connected. So because you see, it doesn't matter how much you look at this thing would not have happened in Banjul. Yeah, it would not have happened to Banjulians. We can forget that they live on an island, there's no space there, but Banjulians always get compensated for their land. Yeah, when the ports got extended, the ports in Banjul, Banjul people came together and demanded the government pay them $67 million. They paid them. That's their compensation. And these people live in little Clinton bones in Banjul. It's an island. No disrespect to them. Okay, 67 million. On top of that, they gave them some land in Bakau. This is Kajikali farms. The ladies used to do gardens there. But then government came and redemarcated, and they call it Cape. They said it's Cape Point. It's all rubbish. So they got paid 67 million. They got paid people's land in Bakau. Bakau people's ancestral land. The women use it for gardening. They use these ladies, our women, our mothers. They go to these gardens and they make money from there. They struggle, and that's how they send us to schools to pay our school fees and stuff. And that's how they pay medical bills. But people in Banjul were strong enough that they can move the government to pay them 67 million and rob people of their inherited land and give it to them. And wasn't enough. Some of them sold that land. And now they want some more again. And the government wants to give them some more land. And this time, Bakau people are telling them over our dead bodies. So it's come to that stage in Combo now. We have to stand up and tell these people over our dead bodies. People in Banjul are not more Gambians than us. Are they more important than us? Are we not Gambians like people in Banjul? So if you can expand the port in Banjul, which is for the benefit of the whole Gambia, you can say, for the whole country, you can expand it, but you saw it fit to compensate them 67 million from the Gambian coffers. And then you gave them other people's land in Bakau. Twice. You robbed those women of the farmland. They couldn't farm. They cannot do their narcos. How are they going to pay for their kids to go to school? How are they going to pay for the medical bills for their sick when their kids are sick? So that's this empowerment. So, but we have these layers in Gambia. So we got these layers, people who are connected. Nobody can touch them. They're untouchable. And they are riding roughshod of everybody. So you see them now, they move to Brufut. They are the same people who move to Brufut. And it's got nothing to do with their tribe. They got one thing in common. They come from Bakau, or from Banjul. So that's their tribe, the tribe of Banjul. It doesn't mean a Wolof or Mandinka or Jola. Just they come from Banjul and they network among themselves and they know how to get what they want. For us, we are still not got to that stage yet. We have come to that stage in Combo. We have to fight for our right. Yeah, this is our land. So if we can compensate one people, a community, and then I need to emphasize this, and I'm saying this so many times, but expanding the port in Banjul is for the benefit of the whole of the Gambia. But the government can so it fit that they need to compensate them monetarily. You gave my land to an individual. It's for the benefit of that individual and his investors. But he didn't see it fit. He only saw it fit to compensate me for 250,000. And look at the size of this land compared to the land in Banjul. It's so unjust. So it's an injustice issue. So that's why it's a national issue. That's why governments need to come together and fight this, because it creates a class between communities in the Gambia. We got intercommunal classes there because of this. So if you go to Brufut Heights today, this estate developer, that's where he lives, on Brufut Heights. So he took Brufut Gardens and Brufut AU Villa, and he lives in Brufut Heights. So he's laughing at Brufut people, telling them, I can screw you over 3 times, there's nothing you can do. And you think that's going to stay that way. It's not going to stay that way, I can guarantee you. And that is not a real threat. That is just the reality. People are not going to accept this. You're not going to accept it. He came from Banjul. If anybody went to Banjul and took land that belongs to me, he would be up in arms. So I'm sure he should expect and he should accept this, that we are going to be up in arms. And we're going to seek justice for this thing. And we're going to definitely seek. I don't know anybody. I tell people in my family, I don't know about them. I am getting every inch of my land back. No way is any estate developer going to take my inheritance from me. That was been left to me by my forefathers for 10 generations. I'm not going to accept that. I don't know how low any law can justify it. I'm not sure. So we're going to go through the law system. We're going to go through the judiciary, through the justice system. We'll see where it takes us. But we're not going to leave this, and Combo people should not leave this. And the Gambians, importantly, shouldn't think that, oh, this affects Combo people, it doesn't affect me. Let me just stay out. If you live in Fonyi, it's coming your way. If you don't fight this now to change the laws in the Gambia, it's going to come your way in Jara and Kiab and Wuli. It will be coming. So that's why I need to come and stand shoulder to shoulder with us and fight for what is just and right. Yeah. If you can explain to me why one community can be compensated 67 million and pieces of land, why they actually robbing other people of their land, but you don't see it fit to compensate other people or to leave their land in peace. And you tell me that that country is not asking for trouble. Really? That country is asking for intercommunal trouble. So that's why Lawyer Dabo and other politicians have a duty and responsibility. It will be severe dereliction of duty if they don't stand up and do something about this. Really?
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Manneh. My father have never have that money still. Well, the 250,000 compensation we are talking about, the guys, somebody 250,000 his father never received that money anyway. So probably it's not even true. But that's less than the price of 30 by 30, and these people have 1,222 30 by 30. So that's unbelievable. Yeah, as usual, the numbers are here. Elizabeth, if you want to contribute, you are welcome. But this is the situation in Brufut. It happened. They're still selling these lands, but the family, the clans affected are fighting back, and the entire combo are going to stand with them, because they use the paramilitary to go and intimidate people, and we thought that's thing of the past. But in recent months, we've seen similar situation happen to people of Sukuta. What actually happened there, in fact, probably the same as probably worse than Brufut, because they told the Sukuta people, we are building new hospitals and markets. But all of a sudden, you see individual building structures there. Then the people of Suga who are affected went and started building their structures, but they come and destroy the indigens, structures, and leave people's structures who got these through devious means. Their structures are still standing. That's the injustice facing the people of Congo. So if the entire country didn't see this as a national issue, the people of Congo need to see, you know what, we need to come together and stop this madness. So,
yes,
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, no, I landed actually.
All right. Yeah, I was just gonna say, just to buttress what you've just said. Yes, because what happens? The indigents in Salaji, those are the structures. The structures built by the indigents. Those are the ones they knock down. So do you see where this intercommunal problem is gonna come? I am from Sukuta. I built on land that belonged to me, to my father and him and his father before him for 10 generations. You knock mine down, but somebody come from other part of the country or other part of Africa or any other part of this world, but his structure is standing, because your argument is that where his structure is just legally owned, but mine doesn't. I don't own mine, but this belongs to me for 10 generations when there was no Gambia. Can you see why it can develop problems between our intercommunal problems can come? Yeah. So how am I going to sit there? I'm from Sukuta. Somebody come from Wuli and is building a 3-story building on farm that belonged to my grandfather. I wanted to build a clean building there. The Mansakunda knock it down. Yeah. Can you see how I'll even though the guy from Wuli is not his fault, but human beings are just human beings. I cannot help just being angry at him. But it's not even his fault. So that's why the government need to be responsible, try and make sure we sort these Cumberland issues. Because you cannot just nationalize my inheritance. If we live in a communist country, let everything belong to everybody, then I can understand them, no problem. But you cannot take mine and then other people can keep theirs. It just doesn't work. And if you go to this estate builder in Brufut again, as an example, all he is working for now is in his 60s or so. We can say he's got another 20 years or so to live. So his wealth is actually going to be inherited by his kids and his grandkids. But do you see mine have been robbed of my inheritance? Do you see what I mean? So we need to break this argument down to the basic level. It's so important. And I'm always going to appeal to my people. It's nice to be emotional. It's nice to get angry. But when you do those things, take your time. Do your investigation. Commission people to do service for you. Go to the lands office, go to the physical planning and try to get records. It helps you a lot, because Over these years, I've learned so much about this land injustice in the Gambia. I could write 10 PhDs on them. Yeah. Individual estate developer can write 25 PhDs on him for I've been studying for 17 years. Because I'm that obsessed with it, not him. I'm obsessed how anybody can justify taking my inheritance from me and give it to an individual. Yeah. If these properties were built and Brufut people can even live in them, they can even afford them, I can say, okay, it benefits my people. But it has given no benefit whatsoever to my people. And just worse than that, its garden is like fenced off. It's like the symbolism of Gaza. It's like people living behind. When it's the rainy season, it's horrendous out there. Yeah. It got waterlogged. Even four-wheel drive will struggle. And the people who used to be pathways there, they're all blocked. So if it used to take you 5 minutes to walk from your house to the main road to catch a bus to go to Banjo, now you go 20 minutes added to your journey time because of this stupid fence. You know? So it's just injustice and the disregard for our people. That's what we need to stand up for. We cannot have this. Those roads need to be the roads need to be built back. You can see from here. I should have used a whiteboard interaction anyway, but you can see the fence. You can see basically, you can see the outlines of where the roads are anyway. It's very simple to see. So all roads were blocked now. They are completely blocked. So it's just horrendous. It's just a huge injustice. We're definitely not going to accept it. We are not going to accept it. No. We're not going to accept this. So we go through like I said, we go through the court system, and the judges can tell us how they can justify compensating people in Banjo 67 million, and on top of that, other people's land. But they just think that people in Brufut shouldn't have any compensation. All they are worth is $250,000 for hundreds and hundreds of people from the Sani and Manneh clan. How do you justify that? It needs to be corrected, and it will be corrected.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so is that that's the last slide for this, right?
No, I want to leave one to the very, very end because obviously I've got a personal stake in this, but the personal should always come last. It's very important. So this all right, this what I've just shown you on the screen, it belongs to just me.
Okay.
This is my father. His name, my grandfather. His name is Jerry. His name actually is Omar. Mr. Manjang, doing this research, I even came to know what my grandfather's name is because I always thought his name was Jerry. Actually, his real name is Omar, and his brother. Everybody came to realize that his name is actually Ibrahima. So I never knew. So the research was so good for me because I learned a lot about history. I learned a lot about my father, his father, going back so many generations. I learned about how some of my people, 4 generations of us were already in Brufut before Kombosilla came to do a fight. Some of us came from Kabu and they also came to live in the Manekunda. But before that, 4 generations of us were already there. So it's so enriching for me. I went into it because so angry because of my land, and then I came out of it like a much more rounded person. I knew my history much more, and I know how I'm related to most people in Brufut, and how I'm related to most people in Combo. On top of that, how I'm related to people through Kombosilla, that he gave his youngest daughter to us, to my great great grandfather's nephew. He gave his last daughter to him called Matida. So I learned so much. So it was just not it was incredible. But anyway, as you can see, what you can see on the screen, this belonged to my grandfather and his brother, and then obviously we are their descendants, my father and his brother and their cousins. This is our land, and this is what this estate developer is built on. So it's 1.09 kilometers that belongs to just me. So I had to go to my dad and my uncle, and they had to write like a power of attorney for me, because I like to do everything properly. So my father wrote a power of attorney, and then my uncle also wrote a power of attorney. Then I went to my uncles, my dad's cousins. They also wrote a power of attorney. So I am going to represent them. So the court case obviously is going to be me against that person. But the plan is to have a class lawsuit. When one of us start, all of us combined. But what I've come to realize is if I have to wait for the rest of the clan, we're never going to move. So I'm going to take it on my own. I'll use my own money to start the court case, and the rest of us can come together. We can do a class action lawsuit. But if you can see, that's what is there. This what's belong to me. How am I going to leave this to anybody? I must be mad. I must be on crack cocaine to leave this to anybody. I'll never do this over my dead body. It's not going to happen. It won't happen. So, but going back to people in Salad and other people, other areas of Combo, when you get into this, do your research. Even commission people to do the service for you. It's really worth it. And go and speak to the elders and get your history. I go there with my laptop, with my phone and recording old people, old ladies. They are the custodians of our history in Brufut. They would not believe. Some of the old men, they don't know. I go to my, like my aunties, old aunties, I sit down with them. Boy, they can give me the family tree. It's sucking. One of my mom's, my dad's cousins, she was amazing. She's very, very old lady, but I sat with her, and she would just give me everybody I'm related to Brufut. I'm like, I'm related to everybody in Brufut. He told me, yeah, and you're related to everybody in Sukuta. It's just unbelievable, So it's very enriching. It's very, very enriching. So it enriches you, your history. And it's really, really good. It just makes you understand that you're part of a community. You're just not a Manneh from Manneh Kunda. You're just from Manneh from Brufut. You're related to everybody in Brufut. You're related to everybody in Combo. Because I know about the city of Combasila's fight, how my people got involved in it. So it's so important to me. So our people need to do this. Just don't do this, just using emotion. Emotion is just a vehicle. Use your emotion to push you. But there's got to be a time whereby you have to use your intellect and rationale, do your investigation, do your homework, and then when they ask you, you can know what to say. You're not a lawyer. You're not pretending to be a lawyer. But at least you can pass some of these documents and facts. You pass them to the lawyers, and it makes their work easier for them. So everybody need to get to commit to this. Is important. But I cannot overemphasize this. This is a national issue. This is not a Combo issue only.
So this slide is showing these already developed, right? So these are the houses in that particular area.
Yeah, within this what they call Brufut Gardens. Yeah.
Gardens. Okay. All right. I got it.
So if I show you this is
yeah, and that's the Brufut Garden at the right corner here, at the left corner down. Wow.
The one in red that belongs to my father and his brothers and his cousins alone. That's just that family. Okay. So you can see 260 meters by 240 meters by 292 meters by 309 meters. Yeah, my father doesn't want to get involved in this. He doesn't believe in people fighting over land. He said, you don't understand that.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from my mom.
I spoke to my dad. I had to give him the history of going back 900 years in the UK about the Conqueror, where he did the Great Land Survey. I told my dad there are people in England, their land belonged to them for 900 years. My dad is like, what? I said, they don't lease it. They don't give you freehold on their land. They can lease their land to you, but I said, then the land comes back to them because they know the value of land. So now I changed my dad. So sometimes this is what it comes down to. You have to sit down with these old men and talk to them. And I felt it he was so against this. My dad wouldn't even take me to this plot of land and say, no, Malafi Banko Sonkola, Abulaji, Mustafa Njai, and Abafala Labajintula Janne. I said, no, Dad, it's more than just Mustafa Njai dying and leave this land here. Yeah? Mustafa Njai is not taking my inheritance from me because he didn't give it to me. It's not his to take. So it was a big thing to take my dad there. I had to take my dad's brothers and his cousins to show me. My dad wouldn't step foot there. He said, forget it. He's not interested. So I sat him down to tell him why I need to do this. I told him, there's a reason why I'm doing this, Dad. You just have to understand. In the end, he said, okay. He said, okay, I give you the blessing, but it's not worth it because there's other land here you can build on. I said, no, Dad, it's not about that. I had my land here. This guy knocked it down. Yeah. So yes, I have got other land, but it's beside the point. The government has got no right to knock my structure down so that somebody can build there. It's not right. We're not going to accept that. There's a guy in Switzerland, Lamin Jambe. He built it. He spent lots of fortune on there. Knock it all down overnight. He lives in Switzerland. He spent thousands of euros, Swiss francs on his property. They knock it all down. There are countless others. Abdul Karim and others. Lots of people. I don't know if Abdul Karim also had property knocked down. People got their fences all knocked down. People got properties knocked down. So why should they just let that go? We shouldn't let that go. We shouldn't. And within the AU villa, what they call presidential villa, I got another farm here that belongs to my dad and his brothers again. So it's a vast, it's a vast sort of land. You shouldn't give that to anybody. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna accept it. We're not gonna kill anybody over it, but we're gonna go through the courts, and we're gonna go through the courts all over. If it's not in the Gambia, we go somewhere else in the sub-region. But this case is not gonna. This is not gonna just be that you're just gonna push this over under the carpet and move on. No way. It's not gonna, over my dead body. It's not gonna happen. Even everybody in my family just said they forget about it, move on. I will never move on. Even my dad told me, he just says, like, you can do a produce the moment to look at you know. I know that this is more than just more. This is more than that. You need to understand. So it took me months and months, years to speak to my dad, to convince my dad what I'm doing. He needs to give me the best.
Yeah. Yeah, we can understand that why your dad is thinking that way, because that's what Combo is all about anyway, and that's why Combo is a melting pot of all tribes, from all part of the world anyway. I can say even the Europeans, you know, you will come, you just buy a cola nut and they will got something for you, but in the end, land become a real issue, and you know, people are crowded, you know, and why people of Combo, not also the older generation, then are not very greedy about land. You know, they have their farms. They will farm the whole rainy season. You know, in the dry season, it's only about party, so they didn't, you know, get involved. But now that those farmlands, in fact, don't exist. So if we don't fight over it, you know, we will not even have people where to live in, much more where to farm and live on. Yeah. So, guys, if you have any comment, questions to Dave, the numbers are +220 9433419. You know, we still have 10 more minutes to the end of this program. So, Dave, if you have more to say about this issue, you know, you can continue.
Yeah, I'm going to give you some bits of, I don't know if you can read it. When my family went to court.
Yeah, just to let Elizabeth was asked before, you know, what are you people doing about it? So that's the explanation anyway, Elizabeth. Carry on, David.
Okay. When they went to court originally, the first court case, basically, I just gave you a small of just a few of the you know, these estate developers, his defendants, what's it called, their defense. And because they always try to create this division between us, which is, I think, our people need to get wise up to this. The lawyers, his lawyer's argument, the lawyers either drama, by the way. He said the first defendant denies paragraph 102 of the statement claim. The plaintiff do not represent the Manneh Kunda Kabil of Brufut. So Manneh Kunda people chose two of their elders to be the plaintiff. And his lawyer shamelessly trying to bring a friction between them to say that no, these people don't even represent the Manneh Kunda Kabilo. So what their plan was to bring somebody else from Manneh Kunda to say, no, these people don't represent me. It's horrendous. So this is the kind of tactics they use on our people. So that's why we need to be wise up to it. And then the other arguments, I put this in bold because I think this is important. Gambians pay attention to this. It said we are not entitled to that land, nor have we previously legally occupied the land. Because their argument was, this is a customary land, but legally doesn't belong to us. So I think Gambians need to pay specific attention to this. This is either Drame's argument to say that the land don't belong to us. So if you live in Jara, you think your land belongs to you. This lady is saying in his defense for this estate builder, this land don't belong to you. Because why? Legally, you've not registered your land. That's what he's saying. Which farmers register their land? Where? In the Gambia. So I put this in bold for people to pay attention. If you think this is just a combo issue, it's a Brufut issue, it doesn't affect you. If you don't stand up now, you're gonna be facing this very, very soon. Then he went again, he said the first defendant denies paragraph. Obviously, I didn't give you all this paragraph. He said an independent evaluation of all the illegal developments. Okay, people like Lavin Jammeh, who built his fence, he spent thousands of his Swiss franc. He said an independent valuation of all. He said they call them illegal. Yeah, Lavin Jammeh, by the way, his grandfather comes from Manneh Kunda, so he's legally entitled to that land, legally entitled to do it through our customary ownership. So he spent a lot of money, lost it, but they're saying that It's an illegal development. But that's land that his forefather gave him. So people in Gambia need to pay attention to this. He said compensation in both cash and land has been offered to the purported claimants. Purported claimants. Just look at the word they use, the purported claimants. How you call them purported? Just basically trying to devalue their claim. So that compensation, that's what I'm talking to you about. That's what they said that they gave us other land that belongs to us anyway, and $250,000. So it's ridiculous. So now, if you look at the very bottom, it says the contract amounting to $5 million have already been signed by the first defendant with third parties. So let's keep on. This is my argument. I keep on telling people, this man had no money. He took our land as a sortie, so he get $5 million from people like organizations like South Africa and other third parties. So that's how he was able to build in this land, on these lands. So the land don't belong to him, but he used those lands to secure funding, to secure sorties, to secure mortgages. So if we actually argue about it morally, nothing in Brufut belongs to this man, because the land he used as a sortie has a guarantee didn't belong to him. So if he get the money and build on it, it still doesn't belong to him. And then there's a fundamental thing about theft, stealing. If I steal your property, Mr. Manjang, and sell it to a third party, let's say Elizabeth, I stole your property and sell it to Elizabeth. Yeah. If you go get your property from Elizabeth, Elizabeth by law has to give you your property. Yeah. So it's between me and you now, but you have to get your property from Elizabeth. So it doesn't matter the size of the land, it doesn't matter the money involved here. It's a basic, very, very basic law. It's a moral law, by the way, as well. And it's actually a legal law as well. It's legal. So stolen property, you who are the buyer, I say, buyer, be aware. So if he is buy stolen property, you the loser. So if Yaya Jammeh offered him the land that don't belong to Yaya Jammeh, and the argument was that it belongs to the state, but it doesn't belong to the state, because we all know that. So he and the government have to deal with this. That's what I always say this. I mean, I never actually basically even personally attacked this guy, because I didn't think it's worth it, because I thought we got something much more rotten, which is our state that can see fit that he can rob communities and give it to an individual. That is the state that's not fit for purpose. So that's why I did never thought it is a personal thing to attack a person, because I know this might sound very crazy. One of my first letters I sent about this land thing, I said this. I said, it looks like, counterintuitive. But it seems like this guy is even a victim as well. Because if your property, your wealth is built on stolen goods, people's wealth and people's inheritance, but you have to create this narrative. You want to make a myth of yourself as a self-made man. People can see through it. People can see through it. And then maybe you might have been a very decent person until that human, we all have this human weakness. He overcame you. Like, okay, there's a terrible man here who is willing to give me people's property. Let me take it and just capitalize on it. Because that's what happened fundamentally. So you could be the most decent person, but in the eyes of most of us, you can never be decent. Whether Yaya Jammeh gave it to you, that's beside the point. You are a human being. You should have your own common decency. Yeah. So if you didn't have any problem taking people's land because a criminal, yeah, a person who had no respect for people's right, right to life, he's not going to respect people's right to their property. But if he's willing to give it to you and you readily take it, not even readily take it, you are actually leveraging it. That you want to take this land because you were coming to the community in a car. People can see you, and when people went to confront the soldiers, you were there, like doing the commandeering. You were there. So how can you stand there today? It's like, oh, I'm a self-made man. I'm doing this and this for this poor person. Come on, man. You are a victim as I'm a victim. It doesn't matter how you can try and explain it which other way you want to, but that's basic. Any person who is basically decently human will tell you that you basically, you've just been played yourself. You're actually a victim of Yaya Jammeh, even though it doesn't look like it, because you become very wealthy on other people's property, but you're actually a victim. It doesn't matter how many media personalities you have in the Gambia to do you can call it dirty laundry, or you can call it laundering your soil what's it called, reputation. It can never be clean because you got mixed up with Yaya Jammeh. The whole essence of the Gambia right now is to undo the injustice of Yahya Jammeh. You cannot find a bigger, more gross injustice than what happened to people in Yundum and Brufut. So how are you going to have a day of judgment with Yahya Jammeh when we don't have day of judgment of people like you, who were people who were in a...
Thank you very much, Dave. We will continue with this next Saturday, inshallah. But in between, on Monday, we are discussing about the Land Act, the land tenure in particular. But before I give you time to round this thing up nicely, we still have 2 minutes. I will read from Modi Olumboch. He wrote a comment. I'm not sure if Lyman can put it on the screen for me. It's a little bit small for my bad eyes. Yeah, wow. Dave, you done your homework well. As you insisted, while the whole land issue is emotional, it is very good and important to get the paperwork right and also talk to the elders. You know, people are custodian of a very rich history. Indeed, the land issue is national issue. Combo folks are the most welcoming and generous people. Thank you, Modu Olu. Yeah, I have ancestors who were accommodated in Gunjur. Wow. Okay, the FAIS. I need to speak to you. Who are these one? And the jobs, we know about the buy jobs, maybe you are related, came from Senegal and were welcome and given space and land. My great grand uncles, mom. Yeah, land is only recently, I can say, you know, Yahya Jammeh make Combo people panic to actually start selling their land. When he stand and say land belongs to nobody, you know, the people of Combo say, okay, if you don't sell it, you're going to lose it. But until very recently, you don't have. My dad accommodated people. You know, I traveled to England in 1997. There are some of his students came after I left, but they have place to sit, to settle. You know, they have their like 50 by 50 for free from our grants. You know, you can. You know, people, when I went to England, they are not in Gunjur. Now they have their plot for free, nothing. So it's that panic that people start selling. And these were some of these unscrupulous, I will call, businessmen came in and capitalized. You know, on this is very, very unfair. So yeah, that was from Modu Oluboy. Thank you very much for acknowledging what we've been saying. I think that's why I find it very difficult to align myself with any political party, because when I have all these tribal things and, you know, division, it's not me, and it's not a typical Kombonga thing. We not into this tribe thing, because Combo, we all speak one language. When we go to our homes, we speak our different languages, but tribe is not an issue in Combo. We dealt with that, and that's how, in fact, Jawara managed to overcome the people in the hinterlands, because the people of Combo, they don't have this guy is a caste or whatever. They went to the hinterland to convince them, you know what? You know, what you are holding to this casting is nothing. Let's look at the bigger picture. This is one of your sons. Right now, he's the most qualified to hold this position. That's the presidency. You know, to overcome the people of the hinterlands, which still people have been buried in different burial grounds. You know, there is nothing like that in the Combos. So, and so that's why it's very, very painful. All of a sudden, you see people taking advantage of that, making themselves rich and trying to, you know, construct a narrative which is not true. So, Dave, in 1 minute, you want to close this until next Saturday, but in between on Monday again, 7 o'clock UK time, 6 p.m. Gambia time, and 2 p.m. Eastern time, we are discussing about the land laws of the Gambia and land tenure in particular. And Dave will be here, and we have Mr. Mr. Fati, who is a lawyer. He's going to help us, and Professor Conte in the US, and also Dr. Esa Toure to give us the historical perspective. And Dave and Banka also will be there. Thank you. Dave.
It's very nice. I'm actually very happy that Mr. Olimboj is. I feel he's my big brother. Back in the day, we used to be on the Gambia Post and Gambia L. That's what I tell you. I'm not a stranger. I'm not a newcomer to this fighting for justice in the Gambia. And I'm very happy that people like him are still, you know, they still remain. They are still true to themselves. Mr. Olimboj is a warrior. I can tell you that. So I think it will be nice to have him here as well, really, because I can see most of these people that are used to be in the struggle with quote unquote, they're all coming out for the work. I think it's about time, because I think our country is sliding backwards. I think Mr. Mboji, me, I think the Gambia Post and Gambia L, we need to resuscitate. They need to be put. We need to bring them back to life. I think we need to bring back to our pens. I think it's about time, because otherwise, you got to look at this whole land issue in Brufut and Combo. It's all about misgovernance. It's all about misgovernance. This, if they don't settle them, they have these intercommunal problems. I mean, Mr. Mbo gave you an anecdote of his own family living in Gunjur. If you go to Brufut, you'll see the Fullers, lots of Fullers in Brufut. They're part of the Manneh clan. Some are part of the Jawara clan. So places like Mariamukunda and Yuna and other places, and Tintinto, they're all part of our clan. And even now, just not long ago, my wife gave birth. I was here. They did a naming ceremony in the Gambia. You see, the Fullers were there because they're part of my family. Some of the Jallo and Ba, but they're all part of the clan. And it's so important we have this. We don't know this tribe stuff. Really, we don't. So you go to Brufut or you go to any of these, coastal areas, it's full of Senegalese who've lived in with us generations after generations. We intermarried. So it's not a problem, but I think it's all misgovernance until we sort the Gambia out. So, some of these things, these are just the symptoms. They are symptoms of a bigger malaria we have in the Gambia. So we have to basically, we have to cure the cancer. Yeah. So we all have to come back together. Mr. Mboj and others, I'm going to plead with them. I think we need to go back. We need to pick our pens up and go back to the Gambia and Gambia Post, because Barrow is not doing a good job. He needs to be at the receiving end of our anger. Very, very, very soon. I think that's very important. I talked to Dr. Ibrahim Assis already about it, and people like I don't want to drop names here anyway, but Mr. Mboy knows them anyway. So I think we need to go back.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave. Mr. Olimbo, just as Dave is saying, injustice will thrive if good men sit and do nothing. I think the people with President Barrow actually they cannot comprehend, or they can't appreciate what other people put in. So he is there. He never appreciate that. So that's why I think, as you said, now these veterans of the struggle need to come out again and dust themselves and get their gloves back on. So more only this platform is all about that. We're trying to put this government not in this spot, but to hold them to account, because we've seen our opposition for some reason. Nobody can even provide a robust opposition to this man. So it's left to us in the diaspora again, in this kind of platform, to hold this government to account. So thank you very much for your comment. We hope one day you will join us here, because as Dave said, this is about Gambia's fight. This is not a regional fight. This is a Gambian fight, because it's the injustice you guys went through to make sure we have a decent living. But we've seen our struggle has been hijacked by the very people we were up against. That's what makes it really painful. Thank you all very much for your viewing, and please share this video so it can get to as many people as you can. And we hope to see you again on Monday and Saturday, 3 p.m. UK time. Thank you, David.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Gambian call albe alnimbara balbe konton na altol na konton la ntelen albadi ma Yaya Sonko, also the founder of Sonko Dynasty. Nyindima so mun kanana nte aning jali dinding wala Andreasti mbetarra papa jela programme to le akamenki gunjur online radio to mbetari ko kachala je mbe jali yala ko fanan kachala je le anyama fa jali ya bota nyaadi le anata nyaadi le jalol lo lamneti molla society kono ndo be kachala je le mba kachala mandiga kanwala de bari mandiga kammoy lalu aning melka kanfono mbal buña la programme woni to jeni ala kiti tal ko dimaso be benna je
Ima